One Zambia, One Nation. The headlines. Mamba Collieries to open a second 300 megawatts power plant. European Union injects 4.5 million euros towards Zambia's response to drought. Government increases beneficiaries of keeping girls in schools in Kasama district. Plus, Chikoi village in Luwingu district gets water reticulation system. Welcome to ZANIS News. My name is Kafula Salamba and my sign language interpreter is John Chulu. ZANIS News in detail. Mamba Collieries is set to establish a second 300 megawatts power plant which will push power generation by the company to 600 megawatts. This follows the sourcing of $90 million United States dollars by the company through government intervention. Meanwhile, the British government has offered Zambia $15 million United States dollars financial support towards the establishment of a power interconnector between Zambia and Tanzania. President Hakainde Hichilema has disclosed this during a press briefing held at State House. Kalani Muchima now reports.
Since March 1st, 2024, when Republican President Hakainde Hichilema declared hunger as a national disaster and emergency, several interventions have been put in place by government to mitigate the impact of drought, especially the disruptions in the energy sector. President Hichilema has since informed the nation that one of the measures is to encourage private sector participation in the energy sector.
After 5th of June when we met, we were grappling with 300 megawatts of power at Mamba Phase 2. Since we met, colleagues, I called a meeting here of pension funds right in the cabinet room there, banks in this country, and we sat in there. I ran them through the challenges the drought has brought about and the need to generate diversified power, not just hydro. And I gave an example of Mamba Phase 2. And today, Mamba Phase 2, I believe, will be signed in a few days from now. Financial closure will be achieved. One of the items we unlocked right here, just a couple of days ago, was Ndola Energy. And today, I'm happy to report to you that 105 megawatts must already it's already being fed in the grid. You can confirm that, Secretary of the Cabinet? Yes. There it is, the nation. Hard work, intentional work, directional work, not noise.
The president further said Zambia is working on establishing key power linkage installations with neighboring countries.
And the appeal we have made, the British are making a contribution, the World Bank is making a contribution, we are making a contribution as part of the energy team I talked about from the 4th of June to now, part of the measures we have taken in place. I think you saw a news item that ZESCO now, we've dictated to ZESCO that they will put together a unit to accelerate the construction of the Zambia-Tanzania interconnector, which itself becomes the Zambia-Tanzania-East Africa interconnector, which means now we can go up to Ethiopia to trade in power. If Ethiopia has more power than us, Kenya, we can buy. When we will have more power, and I know we will, they can buy.
In view of the ongoing drought, the head of state calls for prudent utilization of public resources.
Cabinet. So my direction, not an appeal, on behalf of the people of Zambia, and all of those that sit in the procurement units must continue to rationalize on the resources that have been left even in the budget, the skinned budget, so we can continue to create savings and move those savings towards supporting the disaster and emergency declaration. A bit of detail, but you need to know. So that's the direction. And citizens, government, citizens through the government will not tolerate abuse of public resources. And there is a particular ministry where action has already been taken, not mere talk, to basically act on those procurement officers who want to continue with old habits.
President Hichilema has since assured Zambians that the country will come out of the drought situation more stronger than ever before. Kalan Muchima reporting for ZANIS in Lusaka.
President Hakainde Hichilema has cautioned civil servants entitled to drive government vehicles against misuse. The president explains that government vehicles are key towards enhancing service delivery. However, they must not be misused by those entitled to drive them. Speaking at a media briefing in Lusaka, President Hichilema says those entitled to government vehicles must be allowed to drive them 24/7, but cautioned against misuse. He said officers must be allowed to carry out their duties without hindrances, especially those associated with transport. On the 7th of June 2024, at a press briefing, Secretary to Cabinet Patrick Kangwa announced that government vehicles being driven by mainstream civil servants were to be packed by 18 hours. The decision by the Secretary to Cabinet was aimed at curtailing misuse of government vehicles as well as reducing government costs such as fuel.
Mr. Kangwa, Secretary to Cabinet, I'm overriding your decision. From today, civil servants who have access to transport must have that access to transport 24 hours in a day. So that it is not the reason they are not delivering. Are you together? Are we together? It's not the reason they are not working because, no, I couldn't respond to this because I've been told by Secretary of Cabinet that I park my car and I can't use it. Your cars will be available. After all, they are taxpayers' cars. Use them responsibly, sparingly, to deliver for the owners of the cars. Civil servants, public officers, Mr. Kangwa, we should be working 24/7 every day. The president is taking the lead. You must do the same. Ministers must do the same. Everybody, including a cleaner, must do the same. And I am inviting the private sector to do similar things.
Meanwhile, President Hichilema has since arrived in Livingstone via presidential challenger, which arrived at Livingstone Airport this afternoon. Minister of Finance Stumbe Komsokotwane, Tourism Minister Rodney Sikumba and Provincial Joint Operations Committee welcomed the president. President Hakainde Hichilema is tomorrow expected to grace the 24th Annual General Meeting of the African Trade Insurance ATID. Meanwhile, the 24th Annual General Meeting of the African Trade Insurance ATID that will take place in Livingstone in Southern Province tomorrow will be attended by 24 member countries from Africa, including Zambia. ATID is a development institution that provides political and commercial risk insurance in order to address insurance challenges in member countries where they operate. Minister of Finance and National Planning Stumbe Komsokotwane says Zambia's economy has expanded by 2.3% against an initial projection of 4.8% in the first quarter of 2024. Dr. Msokotwane says this is an indication that the country's economic growth has been uncertain over the medium term, falling short of the government's targets and expectations. He has attributed this to the effects caused by the cholera crisis and drought, which resulted in electricity and water rationing, posing a negative impact on national productivity. Speaking during the 2025 to 2027 medium-term budget plan and the 2025 budget stakeholder consultative meeting in Lusaka today, Dr. Msokotwane, who was represented by Acting Secretary to the Treasury Nsandi Manza, said the droughts have also resulted in crop loss, food insecurity and increased inflation due to the high cost of food. And USAID Acting Director for Economic Development, Catherine Tembo, proposed that government should remove taxes on liquefied petroleum gas cylinders and stoves. Dr. Tembo has also recommended the removal of 60% excise tax and 16% value-added tax from denatured ethanol for cooking to discourage the cutting down of trees, stating that these adjustments will provide the economic incentives needed to enable the country to transition from using charcoal for cooking.
We came into 2024 highly optimistic that the challenges related to debt crisis will soon be behind us. The economy was expected to grow by about 4.8%, and other macroeconomic indicators were expected to remain positive. Unfortunately, the first half of 2024 has been challenging. The country has been wrecked with cholera pandemic in the first quarter, and this has been followed by one of the most severe droughts that the country has ever to endure. The drought has resulted in electricity and water rationing, which has had a direct impact on national productivity. Other effects of this drought have included crop loss, food insecurity, increasing inflation due to high food prices. Economic growth has been adjusted downwards to 2.3% from the earlier mentioned 4.8%, and the national budget is being realigned through the supplementary estimates of expenditure number 1 of 2024, which I presented to Parliament last Friday, 21st June 2024.
Encourage for the removal of existing taxes on LPG cylinders and stoves. We also wish to encourage and recommend to differentiate denatured cooking ethanol from raw ethanol in the tax code. So right now, the denatured ethanol is categorized in the same category as the ethanol, the other ethanol that is used for the other process. So we are recommending that a new tax code be created specifically for denatured ethanol, which cannot be consumed. This ethanol, the denatured ethanol, is one that can specifically just be utilized for cooking purposes. We are also recommending the removal of 60% excise tax and the 16% VAT from the denatured ethanol for cooking.
Meanwhile, the European Union has contributed about 4.5 million euros towards the emergency drought response to benefit about 90,000 women and children in 6 selected districts. EU Ambassador to Zambia and COMESA, Caroline Stasiak, says the funds are destined to complement government efforts to support the most vulnerable communities. Ms. Stasiak explains that the funds through UNICEF will provide in-kind food packages and high-protein supplements for pregnant women and children under 5 years in Zambezi, Kalabo, Shangombo, Mongu, Joma and Monze districts. She said this today in Lusaka when the European Union, United Nations and the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit DMMU signed a collaboration agreement to address the severe drought impacting Zambia. Speaking earlier, UN Resident Coordinator Beatrice Mutali pledged to utilize the funds with uttermost efficiency, transparency and accountability in addressing Zambia's severe drought crisis. Meanwhile, DMMU National Coordinator Gabriel Pollen said the Zambian government will, with supporting partners, has mobilized $400 million United States dollars towards the drought response plan out of the $941 million United States dollars required.
The European Union has already mobilized significant funds for humanitarian action in support of the recent cholera outbreak, and some smaller humanitarian amounts to the drought earlier this year. But in addition, today, I'm very proud to announce another contribution of 4.5 million euros to the emergency response coordinated by the government and its partners. These funds are destined to complement the efforts of the DMMU and the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services to support the most vulnerable communities in districts which are classified as IPC4, corresponding to the situation of emergency in the FAO's Integrated Food Security Phase classification, with a focus, like explained Beatrice Mutali, on Western and Southern Province, with the targeted districts being Zambezi, Kalabo, Shangombo, Mongu, Choma and Monze. Through our trusted partner, UNICEF, who will implement this support, the EU will provide in-kind food packages that include maize meal, beans, cooking oil and salt, and high-energy, high-protein supplements like soybean flour for pregnant women and children under 5. Micronutrient powders to children from 6 to 23 months, and multiple micronutrient supplementation for pregnant women.
These EU funds have been channeled through UNICEF, one of the UN agencies that has been at the forefront of the drought response, providing emergency response services in 20 of the 84 affected districts, which account for 21% of the affected population. I can assure you, Ambassador, that as always, the UN, and in this case UNICEF, will utilize these funds with utmost transparency, efficiency, and accountability. We are committed to making every euro count towards improving lives and alleviating suffering.
This figure for domestic, we have 3 to 5 million or so thereabouts that has come in order to support the ongoing activities, and some of the in-kind support is some milli meal that we're receiving food packs also from different entities, so to speak. It could be embassies or it could be Zambian private businesses. We have also there about $23 million from the United Nations, roughly. We have about $250 million commitment from the World Bank, the IMF, the multilateral institutions. So if we have to give a ballpark figure, we'd say around $400 million thereabouts is being mobilized in order to support the range of activities that are detailed in the drought response plan. Thank you.
Also in the news, Minister of Technology and Science Felix Mutati says government has prioritized technical education, vocational and entrepreneurship training, TEVET, for youth empowerment, economic transformation and job and wealth creation. Mr. Mutati says the practical nature of TEVET makes it more suitable to improve the national workforce, employability, efficiency and competitiveness, hence the increased focus on it by the government. He said this in a speech read on his behalf by Minister of Small and Medium Enterprise Development, Elas Mubanga, during the World Skills Africa Stakeholders Engagement in Lusaka. The minister noted that the World Skills Africa competition presents a transformative opportunity for Zambia in the development of skills for the youths. Meanwhile, Technical Education, Vocational and Entrepreneurship Training Authority TEVET Director General Cleophas Takaiza thanked the government for committing 40 million kwacha out of the 100 million meant for the operation of the competition. The World Skills Africa competition will run from 7th to 12th of April 2025 in Livingston. We take a break. Join us shortly for health and other interesting stories.
Woman Thou Art is a program that offers counsel to the female folk, sharing real-life experiences and providing guidance to the women and young girls on necessary steps and conduct that will help shape and nurture a sober society. Watch Woman Thou Art on ZANIS TV every Wednesday at 18:30 hours on the Topster channel, channel 6 DTT, and channel 458 DTH.
Welcome back. In health news, Chipata district has received over 335,000 doses of the oral cholera vaccines in its quest to fight the deadly diarrheal disease. District Commissioner Elida Banda, who was represented by the District Administrative Officer Kapembwa Sikazwe has called upon Chipata residents to come together and get vaccinated in order to kick out cholera in the district. Let's get the details in this report.
Is a deadly diarrheal disease that originates from eating contaminated food and drinking water. Government has come on board to mitigate the disease that has continued to claim lives in Chipata district of Eastern Province through the launch of the oral cholera vaccination campaign. Chipata District Administrative Officer Kapembwa Sikazwe represented District Commissioner Elida Banda at the launch held at Mchini Health Center.
Chipata District has been responding to the new cholera outbreak since 29th May 2024. To date, a total of 65 cases have been detected with 33 confirmed cases. The President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, President of the Republic of Zambia, during a media interaction, emphasized on a multi-sectoral whole government and whole society coordination response. The general public has to be engaged as key players to ensure a targeted and timely response to the outbreak in order to create cholera-free communities. We are also happy to announce the arrival of the first ever batches of the oral cholera vaccines in the district. The vaccination against cholera will be applied in conjunction with the other prevention measures in the community. Ladies and gentlemen, oral cholera vaccines, which we call OCV, are safe, and the doses that have been received are authorized for use in Zambia.
Eastern Province Public Health Specialist Dr. Charles Fanaka has urged the people in the district to effectively get vaccinated as a way of preventing the disease from spreading.
So far, so good. I seem to be on the right track. As I'm talking to you now, we have recorded at the static facility, 210 people have been vaccinated so far. So our appeal is to make sure that every person who is 1 year and above in Chipata district should come and be able to access this vaccine. As a district in Chipata, we have received 335,260 doses. So these doses are adequate to go around, so we are doing a blanket vaccination across the district. So this is where we are. Today is just first day, so this campaign will be going on for the next 6 days, we are going up to Sunday, and making sure that we are vaccinated. So we are using different modalities to make sure that our people get vaccinated. We have static sites, like where we are here in Muchini, but we also have outreach sites where people are going into the community, and also mobile sites where teams are moving from one place to the other to make sure that our people can get vaccinated.
And the people of Chipata district have welcomed the oral cholera vaccination campaign exercise.
Ndipo nalandira katemera ka kolera. Aka katemera ka kolera vanaruti tonyezya mkamwa na kwanisa zoona na kadi vanipasa.
It's very safe. We cannot, these people cannot give you something which is harmful. Yes, we cannot risk our own people. It's very safe. Please, I encourage you to come here to get your vaccination. Or there are people out there, there are other health persons or people out there vaccinating people. So please get vaccinated and...
Sylvester Chimba for ZANIS in Chipata District, Eastern Province.
Still on health news, Chimutiko locals in Chipata District have commended government for building them a modern health post using the Constituency Development Fund CDF. Matthias Mlenga, a resident, said the coming of the health facility has transformed the delivery of healthcare services offered to the community. And head of the Presidential Delivery Unit, Kusobile Kamwambi, who visited the facility, was pleased to learn that people are benefiting from the health services that have been brought closer to the people. More in this report.
The prudent utilization of the Constituency Development Fund (CDF) is enhancing the provision of healthcare services in rural communities. Chimutiko village in Chipata is among the communities in Eastern Province that prides itself with a modern health post constructed using the enhanced CDF. The development has cheered the local community, who were subjected to covering 10 kilometers in a quest to access healthcare services in Chipata.
Facilities zikomene tenzoenda ni kutali.
Tokoze maningi kaya kuti vani avasogolera wera papa manga chipatara pakayati vani.
And the head of the Presidential Delivery Unit, who visited the health post, was pleased to learn that the health facility is benefiting the community.
Success story, I would call it, of CDF. We are happy to learn that even elderly mothers who used to move 10 kilometers to get medical assistance now have a facility within their community.
Kiberi's sister in charge disclosed that the health post is catering for over 3,000 people in the area.
Of 3,662. Okay, this is an exciting thing because they used to walk distances for them to receive the services. So since from the time this facility was opened, it is something that people has received with a gladness.
Meanwhile, acting Chipata City Council Town Clerk says the remaining amenities at the health post, which include the block of staff houses, will be constructed using the 2025 CDF funding.
Looking at probably come up with good designs for probably semi-detached and also bed sitters that can house a good number of our staff.
For ZANIS, I'm Lakson Makodza.
In education news, Northern Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Beauty Piri says government has increased the number of beneficiaries under the Keeping Girls in School KGS program in Kasama district from 436 in 2020 to 1,236 in 2024. Ms. Piri said the program, which is being implemented in 50 schools in the district, will allow more girls to have access to education in the area. Japhet Munkondia reports that the Deputy Permanent Secretary said this when she officiated at the 2024 Annual Academic Symposium on KGS in Kasama. More in this report.
These are some of the beneficiaries of the Keeping Girls in School KGS program who are taking part in the 2024 Annual Academic Symposium for Keeping Girls in School. Northern Province Permanent Secretary Beauty Piri, who graced the occasion, encouraged the girls to study hard and achieve their goals. The DPS gave a motivational talk to the girls.
If there's something that is important in somebody's life is education, it is a game changer. It changes how you do things. It changes how you view life. It changes how you make decisions. Whether you're married to a millionaire, the moment that man changes his mind on you, you are able to make decisions because you have an education and you're empowered. We have seen our girl child being killed in homes. We have seen our girl child being abused by men because they have nothing to do. Your authority as a girl child is in your education.
Kasama Mayor Teresa Kolala, who attended the event, had this to say.
Your dreams, aspirations, and efforts are paving the way for a brighter tomorrow. Education is a powerful tool, and by staying committed to your studies, you are not only changing your own lives, but also setting an example for others to follow.
Kasama District Education Board Secretary James Chibuye highlights some of the KGS successes.
The increase, as you can see, gets of order in the last 4 years from 436 to 1,236 is a greater, indeed a testimony that we have a greater need to support the girl child. And these are the girls that are supported from those that are fight under the social cash transfer households.
Reporting for ZANIS in Kasama District, I'm Japhet Munkondia.
In other news, the Independent Broadcasting Authority, IBA, has urged media houses in the country to use alternative sources of energy in order to continue with their daily operations of informing, educating and entertaining the public. IBA Director General Guntila Mulea says load shedding is adversely affecting people, hence the need for the media houses to diversify and use other sources of energy. The Director General said this when he toured a number of media houses in Ndola district. Details in this report.
A team from the Independent Broadcasting Authority is on the Chuma Bridge province to tour media houses and appreciate their challenges. The team has toured Sun FM TV and radio station and is impressed with the compliance levels at the institution.
With the broadcasting sector, Sun FM is the first broadcaster I have come to see. So I'm quite delighted by some of the things that I've heard that you've talked to us about in terms of how Sun FM has diversified. It started off as a radio station, and you have shown us how you have expanded your operations to do a lot of other things. I think this is a testament that if there's creativity in terms of your operations and also looking at the environment and seeing the opportunities that are there, broadcasting can be a much bigger outfit. And it also shows that we can look at more than one lens.
Sun TV and Sun Sports TV and then the others that have come on along the way. So what we've done now is we've registered an umbrella company, which is Sun Broadcasting Holdings Limited, because we want all the companies to report into one. That's what we've done. So we have Sun FM, which is more like the mother company because it's the one that has given birth to all these other brands. Then we now have the Sun TV. Then we have Sun Sports TV, you'll go and see as we go around.
Independent Broadcasting Authority Director General has encouraged media houses to use alternative power sources to ensure the stations run 24/7.
Opportunities. We must stress that load shedding is a common challenge that is there, PS. That is out there, that is affecting not only the broadcasting sector, it is affecting everybody in Zambia, but it's also affecting everybody in the region. And as we go out to speak to the broadcasting stations, we are encouraging them to take advantage of the opportunities that have arisen through the government, because the government has zero-rated solar products and would like the participants in the broadcasting sector to take advantage of this.
Here, the team called on Chuma Bridge Province Permanent Secretary Augustine Kasongo.
But it's important that you have decided to come and have an interaction with the general membership, especially taking advantage of the trade fair that is coming, so that you're able to explain yourself clearly to the general public on who you really are and what services that you offer to the public, so that they know that when they hear you, they hear about your institution. It's not about cancelling TV licenses for TV stations or radio stations. Maybe you also explain to the public why you get to that extent of cancelling TV stations, licenses and radio stations.
The Independent Broadcasting Authority is engaging a number of media houses countrywide to ensure that institutions understand the mandate of the authority. Nelly Bota, ZANIS, Ndola.
And Northwestern Province Permanent Secretary Grandson Katambi has urged officers from the Department of Forestry to embrace online payment systems that government is implementing for improved revenue collection. Colonel Katambi, retired, said this in a speech delivered on his behalf by Acting Provincial Deputy Permanent Secretary Tredson Mulofwa during the opening of the Government Services Bus Training of Trainers for Forestry Officers for all the 11 districts in Northwestern Province by Smart Zambia Institute.
Government has urged forestry officers and members of the public in Northwestern Province to embrace digital projects such as the Government Service Bus being implemented to promote accountability in the delivery of services. Provincial Permanent Secretary Colonel Grandson Katambi, retired, said this in a speech delivered on his behalf.
I would like to urge all our esteemed users of our services to embrace this development, as it will help lower the cost of doing business with the department, as some of our clients live in far-flung areas of the province or districts. I would also want to urge all the forest officers to make use of this platform and on this process for us to serve our clients better than before.
And Provincial Principal Forestry Department Officer Maxwell Piri was present at the event.
As a province, we are also happy that this province has been chosen to be among the first two to be trained in this training of trainers, where our officers are being trained into the use of government service bus.
Meanwhile, executive member of the Government Service Bus Committee, Dora Lupindula, says the objective of the project is to help government increase its revenue collection.
So the reason the project sits with the Ministry of Finance is because there's a component, or the larger component of it is the revenue collection, because we are going to be collecting revenue using electronic systems.
For ZANIS, in Solwazi District, Northwestern Province, I am Mary Ndlovu.
We now take our second break. Coming up is construction news plus more. Stay tuned.
The Issue is a program that looks at topical issues happening in the country. Watch The Issue every Friday at 19:30 hours, only on ZANIS TV, Channel 6 DTT and Channel 458 DTH on Topstar. Don't miss.
Come back, ZANIS News continues. Chief Mopolo Koso of the Bemba people of Mporokoso district has bemoaned the slow pace on the construction works of his palace. The traditional leader expressed fear that the contractor engaged will not meet the September deadline that was given to him. Chief Mopolo Koso said this when Northern Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpundu called on him at his palace in Mporokoso. He has since urged government to closely monitor the contractor to ensure that the project is completed on time. And Mr. Mpundu, who visited the site, also expressed disappointment with the pace at which the 3.4 million kwacha project is moving.
I want to call upon all the contractors that have been given these contracts to build chiefs' palaces in the province to pull up their socks. Otherwise, as government, we are not interested in dealing with companies that are frustrating the works of government. As government, we have given this contract to the tune of 3.4 million plus. We are given a time in which to finish the works of construction of this palace, up to around 27th of September, thereabout. And today we are still sitting at a box. We haven't even done the slab yet. And this is more or less a common feature in as far as the palace construction in the province is concerned. We are disappointed, to say the least.
Still on construction news, Masaiti District Commissioner Eni Matutu has called on the local authority and the Road Development Agency to rehabilitate Chifumpa Bridge, which is at the verge of collapsing. Ms. Matutu said Chifumpa Bridge connects Masaiti via Luansha to Lufonyama District. More in the following report.
This is Chifumpa Bridge in Kamifungo ward of Masaiti district, which crosses over to Lufanyama district. The bridge, which is in a bad state, is used by school-going children and farmers who cross over from Chifumpa area in Lufanyama to Masaiti and Luansha districts. Masaiti District Commissioner has since appealed for the urgent rehabilitation of the bridge.
I've visited the Chifumpa Bridge, a bridge which is a crossover to Lufanyama district from Masaiti. It needs immediate intervention. The timber across the bridge has been eaten away. It's a disaster at the moment, and it needs money to be put in through CDF. Inclusion of this bridge is very important. We cannot wait for an accident on this bridge. The timber has been removed on the last piece there. It's utterly impossible. The logs have been eaten away. The pillars are strong. I think we need more steel bars across the bridge because I'm sure this timber cannot last for a long time. To RDA, because this road is crossing over from one district to another, to come to our aid and work on this before the rain season. As you can see, the beginning of the bridge is eaten away. Anything can happen on this bridge.
Kamifungo Ward Councillor explains the importance of having the Chifumpa Bridge worked on.
Tulepengirwa makosa from the RDA, please, to help us, because abana b'esukulu barafuma from Chifumpa to go and attend the lessons from here. Health facility to Kamifungo. Tionse market yavanyuko. So this bridge is very important as it allows the abantu ukuchita their daily lives activities. Now it's so very risky that it's in this condition, because at sooner or later we're gonna have an accident, and there is a lot of ingwena. So whoever aka accident so prevention is better than cure. Please come to our aid so that before we lose anybody, sorted out.
The community is optimistic that the earlier the bridge is worked on, the better for them.
Ombela sana kwati ifimwa chita na mubombe chintu chikankala na tushikwa tumusebunomba na wamu no bulimi ukubwalaba bwi nicho ekichinke ekyo tulelanda chakwati ifimwa afika na tuchetegera kwati awe ubuteko bwesu bwala twafu efyo tulelira.
Mkwachichanda, ZANIS, Masaiti District.
Lusaka District Commissioner Rosa Zulu has assured farmers in the district of government's commitment to ensuring that interventions are put in place to curb the adverse challenges caused by a drought experienced in the country. Ms. Zulu says it is unfortunate that the crop production in the district has drastically reduced by 2 million metric tons from 3.5 million metric tons harvested during the 2022-2023 farming season to 1.5 metric tons during the 2023-2024 farming season. The district commissioner was speaking during the 2024 District Agriculture and Commercial Show held at Nakatindi grounds at the Civic Center in Lusaka. We have more in the following report.
Over 50 farmers from around Lusaka district gathered at Nakatindi grounds at Lusaka Civic Center to display various farm products harvested during the 2023-2024 farming season, while others displayed their technological innovations. This was during the District Agriculture and Commercial Show held under the theme, Creating a Competitive Future. Despite the displayed farm produce, the district farming output production has reduced by 2 million metric tons due to the drought situation experienced in the country.
This has negatively affected the harvest for maize production from 3.55 million metric tons in 2022 to 2023 farming season to 1.5 million metric tons in 2023 to 2024 farming season. As a new Dawn government, we are working round the clock to ensure that our people have food on the table.
Lusaka District Commissioner Rosa Zulu, who graced the District Agriculture and Commercial Show, congratulated the farmers for putting up a spirited fight by not giving up and diversifying crop production despite experiencing crop failure. Lusaka District Agriculture Coordinator says the ministry has put up a number of interventions to curb the situation.
We are working on the modalities to start giving loans under Sustainable Agricultural Financing Facility for irrigation. We are also emphasizing the need for agricultural diversification in their farm enterprises in order for the farmers to be food secure throughout the year.
and Lusaka District Agriculture and Commercial Show chairperson, who spoke on behalf of the farmers, has requested government to look into the plight of the farmers.
Tipemba balimiti mubayanganilepo kulima na tumbwili na ng'ombe nizamu fedro izi kufunika tumatalakita tung'ono tiste graduate kuti musogolo mwatu munkale mwapindu monga mwa thimu yatu.
Nijelo Mweba reporting for ZANIS in Lusaka.
Finally, in the news, Northern Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpundu has commissioned a mechanized water reticulation system in Chikoi village of Luwingu district at a cost of over 2,550 kwacha using the 2023 Constituency Development Fund CDF allocation. Let's get the details in the following report.
Access to clean drinking water is key to preventing the occurrence of diarrheal diseases. And this is why the people of Chikoi village in Luwingu district are happy that government has provided a mechanized water reticulation system using the Constituency Development Fund CDF.
Wale chula amanda mumia sifu yadi paramana sana yemukuti abale kula mtola kula matoileti apa toileti olo apechima hapana toilet hapa kanshi twale nwefiko nombopo uteko bwishire pano muku tuleterechi tule nwamenshi asuma sana twale kwata malaria lingirine nomwako hospital mwachikoye muleba diarrhea yemukuti twale nwamenshi yafiko
tuletotela pabupe ububo twapokelela amenshi pantu kwena twalechula kusenda amenshi pamutwe nomba ino nshitanga inene uli pano ne ulelanda ntapafe na muri kapu nanwa nomba paya tuletotela obuteko pakutuletela kwechichile chisuma.
Northern Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpundu has handed over the water facility that was put up at a cost of 285,000 kwacha. The Permanent Secretary also indicated government's commitment to supporting local contractors.
CDF is to empower the local people. So for this decision, local authority, local authority of Wachitini, to choose local people to do these things, we are very, very grateful because they are fulfilling Ifegateka and Fire. Elio Kwayamenshi, Buku Waisa Buantu Mweso.
This 10,000 liters capacity water tank will provide water to the community covering a radius of up to 500 meters. Geoffrey Piri reporting for ZANIS in Luwingu district.
As we end the news, we take a look at the headlines once again. Mamba Collieries to open a second 300 megawatts power plant. European Union injects 4.5 million euros towards Zambia's response to drought. Government increases beneficiaries of keeping girls in schools in Kasama district. Plus, Chikoi village in Luwingu district gets water reticulation system. That note brings us to the end of ZANIS News. My name is Kafula Salamba, and on behalf of my sign language interpreter, John Chulu, and the entire production crew, it's thank you so much for watching and stay tuned.